Good afternoon once again. Miss Lake has arrived, so we're going to go ahead and get started. One of the things I want to do is I want to thank you all for your speedy response to some real realities of things that we are at a point now where we're tired of the same thing. My grandmother told me a long time ago I got a whooping for something that I kept doing, and I kept acting like I didn't know what I was doing. But after the whooping, I was reminded that what I was doing that I act like I didn't know I was doing was something that I shouldn't be doing. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? It's time out for things to happen in the way in which belittles and makes one particular race of people feel bad. And so we're not only are we not going to settle for it, but we tired of it. I wish somebody should have said something. We tired of it. And so at this point, I before I bring Ms. Lake up, I want to say this publicly. I want to thank Mayor Chad Frank. I've been in communication with him. He was here waiting on me at the church at 9 o'clock this morning. I was still in Indianapolis, my son and I at the barbershop. But his dedication to this is something that I want to, one, acknowledge, two, give recognition to, and thank him, because the truth of the matter is he could have just sat at his house and let things work the way they work. But because of his dedication to bringing about a sense of diversity to our community, I can publicly say from experience that he works and is working to see and bring a change to Connersville. And so I want to salute him publicly and tell him how much I appreciate him, not only for his dedication, but for him being here today. So can y'all just a little bit of love? Thank you. I appreciate that. I want to also say a bit of good news. Mr. Bishop has resigned from his seat. He has resigned from his seat. Effective immediately. And so again, this has come from I think a bit of pain and unpleasure for some, and don't get it twisted. I'm not wishing bad on anybody, but as I said, for those of y'all that were present at our walk that we had, it's imperative that we move to a position where we have uncomfortable conversations. Any levels of implicit bias, any levels of whatever feelings that people have, it's important that you know how that person feels. And so one of the things that's true, my cousin had a dog that no matter who you were, that dog would always bite you. And I was always cautious whenever I went to my cousin's house, and I wouldn't go unless the dog was put up, because I knew what the dog would do. I say that to say there's a difference in knowing what people are capable of and not knowing and it being hidden. And so if I know how you feel, I know how to handle you. And so that's important to know. And so those uncomfortable conversations that you may have about race and about how to respond. I told the mayor in our first meeting that we had as not the diversity committee, what's the name of it, Krista? Striving for Change committee, that, I introduced them. For those of you all that are black in the room, and those of you all that aren't, I'm going to introduce you to something that you may know, you may not know. When I came, I was late. And so I said, I apologize for being on CPT. Y'all know what CPT is? Color people time. I was a little late to the party. See, it's uncomfortable, but it's cool. It's all right. It's not a big deal, I promise. It's all right. But so it's important that we have those conversations that make us feel uncomfortable. Change comes about with uncomfortability sometimes. And the real reality to where we are is it's time for a change. Speaking of a change, I want to bring a young lady up who's running for state representative. U.S. Congress, I apologize, I jacked it up. And speaking of change, I want her to come now, say some words to you all, and I want us to realize the importance behind us voting. Before I bring her up, I want to say this, another private conversation that I had with the mayor. The mayor is hungry to bring about change, so much so even in the seat in which that is vacant. So we're focusing and chewing on how we can do that, because one of the things that's important for the city of Connersville is that black people make up only 3% of the population in this city. And it's time now that we get somebody in that can speak to that 3%. Amen. And so we want to focus hard on who that person is. We want to be able to know some things about that person's views and how they care, because it's time now to make a change. All right? All right, y'all not say amen, but give some love to Sister Lake as she comes.
Hey there, Connersville. How's everybody doing today? Who's in the house? Lift up your hands and give a little praise unto God today. I'm here as a congresswoman, part-time, but more importantly, I'm here as a child of God. And I'm here as an African-American citizen of the world. I'm here as a mother. I'm here because I care about, hey there, good to see you. I care about the same things that you all care about, which is racial equality in America, racial equality in this city, in this country, in this state. Something is extremely wrong. I'm so glad. Well, hang on, let me back up real quick because I kind of got excited. Let me give honor to the angel of this house, Pastor Williams. God bless you. My daddy's a pastor. My husband is an associate pastor. Both of my grandfathers were pastors. And I have 8 siblings that are ordained ministers and pastors, so I do know what the protocol is. And I've got 3 closings, so y'all gonna be here a while. No, I'm just playing. But I really am. I'm so glad to be here today and to see so many wonderful people. We just called this together, Corinne and Sarah and Audra, and some people that Tim Rose, who's the Democratic chair. Give him a little honor there. You too, yes. We just called this together just kind of at the last minute after we saw this yesterday afternoon in the paper. And I am glad former Councilman Mike Bishop today. Who's glad they can put that X in front of that name today? I also hope that he's also resigned, because I believe he's on the Board of Works. So both of those positions, because truly, when you have people that have, in my opinion, I'm sorry, those are bigoted and racist views of people, of mankind, of human beings, of creations of God, and you call yourself a man of God, you might want to go back and reread that scripture. I'm telling you, that's not how you refer to humanity in any way, shape, or form. And I'm sorry, he should be ashamed of himself. That's as a Christian to another Christian, Tim. You know, we know better than that. That's not the book that we read. That's not the book. That's not the holy book. You don't refer to people like that. When I got that yesterday and I got that phone call, it did something to my heart. You know, I've been feeling so good. I've felt great. I've come to Connersville many times, and I wrote on my Facebook page, I was here last month when Krista Gibson had that wonderful event when she welcomed in the mayor, and God bless Mayor Chad Frank, and the police department came, Clint Brown and some other people. When I tell you, I was here for 2 hours, and I wrote on Facebook because it was true. It was 2 of the most special hours of my entire life. I felt such love here. I felt such an embracing here of the ideals of America. That, you know what, we identified the issues, we identified the situations that had been going on in Minneapolis, and maybe even some of the problems in our own state and in our own city. But you all were willing to, like Pastor said, have those conversations that were tough conversations. We were willing to come together and say, you know what, maybe I don't understand. Maybe I don't have all the answers, but I can stand with you. If I don't understand, I can still stand with you. And you know what, that meant so much to me that day. I'd had a hard couple of conversations myself at my own house. It's one thing when your nephews and your nieces and your kids come to you and they're truly upset. When that came down, my son was telling me about it, and then he said, Mom, you gotta watch it. And so I watched to the point where George Floyd started crying for his dead mama. And then I couldn't watch anymore, and I had never watched it again. So when I came to Connersville that week, my heart was so sad already. Because even though I might be running for Congress, I might be a pastor's wife, but I'm still human just like you. And so I'd been dealing with these conversations and these things that I'd been upset with. My soul was on fire, and not in a good way. My soul was hurting. I was hurting. Like many other African Americans in the country, we were hurting. Because the reason why we were hurting is because that could have easily been our fathers, our brothers, our uncles. We know that. We're concerned every single day about them and ourselves. So that's why when I came here that day, and I wasn't expecting, I think, Audrey, you had just invited me maybe the day before, I didn't know. And just, I'm telling you, the amount of love that was on this patch of ground in this city of Connersville, Indiana, it was so beautiful. It just did something to heal those places in my heart that had been really scorched and burned that week by looking at that video. So as I come here today, I'm so glad that we're not going to have to march around this city, because I'll tell you what, I think y'all was ready to march. We had some people that was getting ready to set this place on fire in terms of just, getting out there and marching and asking for the resignation. So I've got something to say to Mr. Mike Bishop. I'm glad you resigned. We do not need we need good people in government. We need good people as police officers. We need good pastors. We need good priests. We need good journalists. We need good teachers. We need good principals. And racism has no place here. No place. And since I am a preacher's daughter, I'm going to go ahead and say it. It starts in the heart of man. And I pray to God, if he doesn't understand that was inappropriate, if he doesn't understand how hurtful that is when you have to show other people that and say, this is the person that's supposed to be representing our great city. He doesn't understand if he doesn't understand that, I pray to God at his church, Pastor Williams, he finds a place at the altar maybe tomorrow if he hasn't already, and he searches his heart and begins to think maybe those kind of things don't reflect the heart of Jesus. Because the bottom line is they truly don't reflect the heart of Jesus. Because 2,000 years ago, and I know that some people are believers, some people are not believers, but I believe 2,000 years ago, it was all settled which lives matter, and that was everybody. He died on the cross for everybody's sins, not just any particular one. So, there's the ministry that's going on over there on the other side of town. God bless him. And I pray to God that you come together with us maybe. Maybe we could sit down and have some conversations, like you said, that are uncomfortable. I'm a former journalist. I'm not working right now in the field because I've been running for Congress. But I know that sometimes you have to ask the tough questions. I know sometimes you have to get in that uncomfortable position and just sit there and hear and listen on both sides. We've had to do that. Even in the black community, we've had to ask ourselves about colorism. Some of the issues that go on within what they say, in your own house. Just don't go out and tell nobody else. But the bottom line is we've had to have those conversations because we can't ask the outsiders, or not the outsiders, but we can't ask the non-black people to treat us in a way that we're not treating ourselves. If we're treating our lighter skinned brothers a little bit better than the people that have brown, beautiful skin like me, oh, there's something wrong in the house. So, these are conversations that we're having here, that we're having. If we're asking you all to maybe go and go to a business that you may not have gone to before, a black-owned business or minority-owned business. Are we going to those black-owned businesses? Do we support the local barbershop? Do we support the ice cream shop? I used to have an ice cream shop, by the way, Tim. Or whatever. So, those have been some uncomfortable conversations within our houses as well. So what goes on in the house has been staying in the house, but since we're all in quarantine, we've been having some uncomfortable conversations. I tell you, in your own houses, although today I'm preaching to the choir, we're getting ready to have some other voices come up here and speak too. I'm speaking to the choir, because if you're here, you already care. You already have been doing the right things, right, sis? You've been trying to do the right thing. You've been trying to raise your kids in the admonition of a world that sees everybody the same. You've already been trying, and I give you guys a big round of applause. Let's give you guys a big round of applause right now. I'm glad you're here. I am so glad you're here. I'm going to get off the stage. I guess I had a whole different speech to Mike Bishop, but since he's already gone, I'm glad. And I guess, Pastor, are you going to MC this? I know we've got some speakers. I tell you what, y'all, let me just say a word, because and then I'll get down. But when I met this young man, and he was speaking at the event that I was talking about earlier, that Krista had organized, he is dynamic. I'm telling you, this man is dynamic. He has a heart for souls. I can tell he's a soul winner for Christ. He has a heart for people. And I tell you what, we need people of all races. So I'm gonna put it out there. If we got an open seat, maybe there's an open seat for Pastor Williams. What y'all gonna say? All right, well, I know we've got, don't laugh too hard, brother. No. We need good people in government. We can make it happen. Okay, so I know if Tim could go ahead and come on up. We've got Tim's going to speak, Corinne's going to speak, and I don't know if the mayor would like to speak, and some other people, but I know that we have some community leaders here in town that have been very concerned about this issue, and so God bless you all today. I appreciate you all for allowing me to come here. Afterwards, if you'd like to meet with me, I'm going to be back. I've got my big old RV back in the back, so it took us a little bit to get here, but we've got some things. If you guys want to get some things out of there, that's fine.
I don't want to take too much time. I just want to, I'm like Jeanine, my speech has changed, and I want to thank the pastor for allowing Jean to be here today in the church. I was asked if I've ever been here. Yes, I have. I've been here when the place has been packed, and it was rocking. It's a wonderful place. I want to thank Mayor Frank for all his hard work in the last 24 hours, probably, maybe a little over. Thanks for working hard and getting this taken care of. All lives matter. Black lives, all of us. We're all God's children. He loves every one of us the same. No matter the color of your skin, no matter the language you speak, or what you have or may not have, God loves all of us. And there is no place in our community for what took place. And you know, the perfect one is Jesus Christ. We make mistakes. Mr. Bishop made a mistake. So he has owned up to that mistake. So let's pray for him and let's let him be. He's owned up to it. There's no need to keep on hounding him. It's over until if anything else takes place. And the mayor's been working hard since he's been elected. He's changing things. He's a young man. He's got some good ideas, and Cartersville's going to head in the right direction.
Hello, my name is Corinne Westerfield. I'm Vice Chair of the Democratic Party, and just wanted to come out today, of course, and support all of my community. Doesn't matter, black, white, brown. You guys are all a part of our community, and that's what's important. More than anything, I think, like I teach my children, when mistakes are made, we need to learn from them. And this is a learning moment. And the most important thing I think I heard today was we need to have uncomfortable conversations. So today, if there's anything we do and learn from this, go out and speak. If people are uncomfortable, ask them what they're uncomfortable about. Get to the details, because that's exactly what it is about policy. It's details. And if we don't understand policy between each other, we'll never make policy that's good for everyone. So thank you for coming out. Thank you for supporting Jeanine. Thank you for supporting all of our community.
Once again, I want to thank everybody, and I want to say this real quick before I'm finished and I ask anyone if there's any questions. With those tough conversations, there are some things that we must realize. Racism wasn't birthed overnight, so in order for us to kill it, it's not going to happen overnight. And there are sequences of conversations that need to take place, because the real reality is when you first start eating meat, you can't just eat it all at one time. You got to chop it up, chew it up, then digest it. So I'm going to tell you right now, I'm open and willing to chopping this thing up and helping us to digest it so that we're strong. And for those of y'all that were at the rally, know my thing is we look better together. We look better together. You know, whether you got two teeth in your mouth and one's over here and the other one's over here, those two teeth look better together than they do separated. Amen? And so we want to make sure that we work hard to stay together, black, white, because Jeanine says something important. When Jesus died, he did not just die for black power. He didn't just die for white power. He didn't just die for brown power, but he died for humanity. And so we must be cautious. As I stated at the rally, and I'll say this again, and I'll continue to say this, we must be cautious of saying the name Jesus and not understanding his nature. Can I say that one more time for those of y'all that may have missed it? We have to be cautious of just haphazardly saying Jesus' name, but we must go forward to understand Jesus' nature. Jesus didn't just care about some people. Y'all in the church, I may as well go ahead and give you the story. He meets the woman at the well. The woman at the well says to him on initial contact, "Why are you talking to me?" This is my version of it. Why are you talking to me? You shouldn't be saying nothing to me. We're not even of the same blood. Hello? But Jesus tells her, despite her rejecting him, that if you drink from this well, y'all, come on, a couple of y'all that know the Lord ought to say something, you'll never thirst again. And so Jesus was a radical in his interaction. He didn't care about her nature. He didn't care about where she was born. He didn't care about the color of her skin. There was something that we had, that he knew she needed. And once she got it, she'll never need anything else. So be careful to be just so free to saying Jesus' name and not truly understanding his nature. All right, that's all I have for you. Guess what? Last thing, if you got $10, go out there and get you some fish, but I got a price for you today that's going to bless you. If you go out there and get it right now, you can get it for $9.99 and tell them Pastor Williams will pay the 1 penny. Amen. Thank you all so much for being here. We appreciate you. Keep moving, keep pressing.
I have a question, and I don't know if it's addressed to you, but in the article in the Palladium item, Clarence Warner, councilman, said that they were something about lighting a fire that wasn't even lit, and that there's no racism in Connersville, which is a completely false statement. I think if you ask any non-white person that has grown up here, we have all experienced some sort of racism. I feel like that was a very ignorant comment for him to make, and I just want to know what will be done so that people who are in power in this community aren't making such false statements like that. They're making it seem like we're doing all of this for nothing.
It's a valid question. I don't have the answer.
Well, that one there, this is not dotted. I can't answer.
Sure, okay.
What I can do is work on this. you're a better speaker than I am. This is not dodging the question because I can't vow for what Clarence said. He is his own elected official. But what I can say is what we are working together on the group that Krista has helped build, the Striving Together group, that is asking those tough questions. That is starting the education process. I know for me personally, it's been fantastic. We've met 4 times, Krista, is that correct? Getting ready to kind of put it out there. We had John designed a logo. It's going to be on the city website, and it's going to be sharing everything that we've been doing together as a group. That is the beginning process of educating everyone. And that group is doing some phenomenal things. I just kind of sit back in that group and I listen and I learn. And it's really good. So hopefully we can get everyone to start joining in, start coming in when we host events. And those tough questions can be asked and they can be answered.
Great response. Just to go a little bit further into details, and this may sound like a jab, but Krista is actually going to present to the City Council on the 6th. So hopefully, even though Mr. Mike isn't going to be sitting up there, he can still watch it and pay attention to some of the reality of things that are taking place. Someone else had their hand up. Yes, ma'am.
I have to say it's a little bit different, and in my devotion this morning, God just really spoke to my heart that, you know, Mike is a Christian, and that's not for me to judge, but for us, not so much to push him, but to bring him closer to the Father. And that's what I just feel like the Lord just really laid on my heart, that we make sure that we don't kill our own people as Christians. We try to restore him, you know, and so I just want to challenge everybody that knows God. Let's continue to build him up in the Lord, because evidently he know what happened and God dealt with his heart. Not only him, his wife, his family, but now it's time for, it says that we're the people, but we got to set that example. We know where we came from. Our roots was based on our religion. So let's, even right now, show that we don't throw rocks, we throw prayers. So.
Let me, to piggyback off of that statement, let me be extremely clear. Our purpose here today, by no means was to belittle Mike, to cast him out. But I grew up in a home around a lot of elders, and one of the ways in which you were corrected is you were called out for your wrongdoing. And when you're called out for your wrongdoing, then you're subject and at a higher stance of correcting what you do. And so at no point, I want to be very clear, did we ever come together to bash Mike. And so yes, I challenge you, thank you, to pray for Mike and his family. Just pray for them at large, because what we don't want is, we don't want anybody threatening him. We don't want it, that's not necessary. But to piggyback off of what Kim said, we will challenge the person who made the other statement, and y'all take this how you want. He's next on the list. We need to find out what's going on and how he feels, and sit down and have some conversation with him as well. And so anybody that knows me will tell you, I don't mind having conversation. The mayor can say amen to that. I don't mind having difficult conversations. And one thing about me, I'm a straight shooter. I don't have time to kind of beat around the bush and try to find out. Let's get right to it. Let's figure out where you are, where you stand, where I stand, and then we learn how to deal with each other. Amen? That's how I like to roll. I don't like to roll any other way. So are there any other questions? Anybody else have anything else that they want to know? Sure.
Okay, as a white person, you know, I've known a lot of people who are racist, and they will use the N-word a lot, and I correct them. I say, no, you don't do that. You don't say that. If you ever say that again, you You know, if I'm at work, I will turn you in. You know, my sister's a bartender, and she won't, if she hears somebody say that word, she will say, will you ever say that word down here again? Because you will not be served down here no more. You will be kicked out forever. And that's just a little something to, like, I don't know, maybe make a little tiny change. Like, you don't say that, you don't talk about people like that, we're all together, you know, in this, and we're such a small, it's a red area, you know what I mean? And we don't have a lot of diversity around here, but we love you guys. I love you guys. Other people love you too. It's just the times, you know, they're changing. It's progressing. We're all getting better, man. I got your back. That's all I know. I got your back. Other people got your back. There's just a few out there who, you know, we're not all like that. You know, don't let a few bad apples spoil the bunch, okay? We're not. I swear. I promise you. I love you all. I love everyone. Go Jeanine!
Okay. All right. Yes, thank you.
There's a gospel song, you get on YouTube, and I cannot, who sings that song. It's called, If You Don't Love Your Neighbor, Then You Don't Love God. You need to get on there and you need to listen to the words of that song, because it really tells you how it is. And that's what our country is in today. They have religion on Sunday, and they forget about God from Monday till Saturday. You need to get on there and listen to that song and listen to the words of that song.
All right. Thank you. Anybody else? Let me say, yep.
Many of you know that I'm the one that actually initiated the post yesterday that called out Mr. Bishop. But what I'm here to say today is what I saw with him was what I call situational racism. Do I really believe that he's a blatant racist? No. Do I believe that his family is? No. But I felt that he was uncomfortable with the rioting and looting that happened within these communities where we saw images of African Americans destroying their own communities. However, they failed to leave out the images of the Caucasian that was also destroying our communities. So for him to post this, I feel like that he was trying to send a message, but it was the wrong message. So what I have to say is I commend him today for putting in his resignation. The last conversation I had on my post was with his stepdaughter, who asked me, do you believe that he is a racist? Do you believe that he did this? My answer to her was, until the truth comes out, he has to stand in his truth. And if he stands in his truth, he'll realize the pain that he brought upon this community by posting that as a councilman representing me. And if he stands in his truth, he'll do the right thing. So all we can do now is uplift him for standing in his truth.
Wonderfully said, wonderfully said. And that's why it's important that we get somebody to take that seat that represents us. Amen, represents everybody. And so I'm gonna go on apartments.com, see what I can find in Connorsville. And no, I'm just serious. Is there anyone else? Anyone else that has anything just before we go? One more, waving the hand like.
I just want to let everybody know that came out not only to support this in their community, that came out for Jeanine and support. She's also having her shirts here today that she's selling for $10 in support if anybody would like to, because we know that one thing that's important is fundraising for our political officials that are running, because it's not easy to get out there and spread the word and listen to your people that you want to support without financial backing. And unfortunately, in my party, we just don't have the backing that we need. So if there's anybody out there, myself, I'm going to be buying a shirt, that would like to buy one, please let us know before or right after this, and we will definitely get you guys a shirt today to help support Jeanine, to make her our next congresswoman for the 6th district. And if you'd like a yard sign, she has yard signs. Just ask for one, and we'd be more than happy to have one for putting in your yard.
All right, so Jeanine shirts, $10, fish dinners, $9.99. All right, don't you forget. Tell them I have the 1 penny. I'll take care of it. All right, no, seriously, thank you all so much. We appreciate you. Anybody that wants to ask any other questions, feel free. But you guys are good to go, and we thank you guys so much for coming out and supporting this event.